The secret. The time kept. It was a gray afternoon in 1962. The Santa Teresa orphanage stood atop a hill, surrounded by ancient trees and the laughter of children who, even without fully understanding life, still knew how to play with what little hope remained. Among them, there were two inseparable girls, Helena, 8 years old, and Clara, 6. Helena had arrived first. She was left there by her mother when she was only 5 years old. She remembered her mother's face, her tired voice, and the scent of lavender. Clara, on the other hand, had arrived only a short time ago. She had also been abandoned by a loving mother, weakened by illness, who swore she would return, but never did. Helena, being the oldest, took care of little Clara as if she were her sister. She helped tie the bow on the dress, shared the bread at breakfast, and at night told stories so Clara would sleep without fear. Sometimes Helena and Clara would look at each other in silence, as if their hearts recognized something that reason could not explain. They had already secretly imagined that they might actually be sisters. There was a bond between them that seemed to have been born even before their meeting at the orphanage. But Helena vaguely remembered having a sister, while Clara said she had no siblings and that her mother carried a large scar on her chest, a mark that did not exist in the gentle memory Helena held of her own mother. And so they left fate to keep the mystery that only time could reveal. Both of them dreamed of the same desire, to be chosen by a family, but together. It's just that life sometimes is made of missed connections. On a rainy morning, a black car stopped in front of the orphanage gate. Clara was called by the principal. Helena watched helplessly as her friend, with teary eyes and a handkerchief in her hands, was taken away by an elegant couple. "I don't want to go," Clara shouted as the car drove away. Helena stood there, motionless, with a heavy heart, watching the dust rise along the road. A few months later, Helena was also adopted, but the longing for Clara remained like a scar that time could not erase. Many years later, somewhere along the coast, a man was returning from a long journey, a sailor with a restless soul who spent a lifetime between ports and storms. Upon returning, he discovered that his wife had died and that his daughters had been left in an orphanage. Desperate, he traveled there hoping to hear news of his daughters. But fate was cruel. The orphanage had already closed its doors, and the children from there were sent to another place. The records, the names, the stories, nothing else existed in that orphanage. The man spent years searching until he fell ill and, before dying, made a request to his brother, the girl's uncle. "If I ever find my daughters, tell them that I never stopped loving them. Time pests decades. One day, already elderly, the uncle received some information. A woman named Helena worked at a small school in the countryside. He decided to look for her. Helena, now a little over 40 years old, lived a simple life. She never got married. She kept in her heart the longing for her childhood, her mother and Clara, her friend from the orphanage. When her uncle appeared, claiming to know the story of her sailor father and showing an old photograph, Helena felt the ground disappear beneath her. "I remember him," she whispered, her eyes brimming with tears. Uncle spoke about the promise made so many years ago, a promise that turned into a quest that spanned time and loneliness. Then, with a choked voice, he revealed, "There is a chance that another girl has also been adopted." With a yellowed piece of paper in their hands and an address scribbled in the corner, they set off down the road. With every kilometer traveled, Helena's heart seemed to beat faster, as if sensing that something important was about to happen. They arrived at a simple house in a quiet neighborhood of a neighboring town. Helena's hands were trembling when her uncle rang the doorbell. She knew she was about to meet her sister, a young woman opened the door. Good afternoon. We're looking for Clara. Uncle took a deep breath. I'm her father's brother. I have been trying to find her for many years. Hearing that name, Helena felt her body shudder. Would it be possible? Would it be the same Clara? She had sweet eyes and the same smile as Clara. The young woman hesitated for a moment and replied, Yes, Clara is from here. Just wait. A moment. Silence took over. Helena looked at her uncle with teary eyes, her heart racing. Do you think she would come? Could it be the same girl from the orphanage? Would it be the same Clara, who was her sister? The door opened again. The young woman was holding a wooden box in her hands, and she said, Clara was my adoptive mother. She passed away a few months ago, and she asked me to keep this box and deliver it if anyone ever came looking for her. Helena brought her hands to her mouth in a sign of despair. Tears began to fall, even before she opened the box. Inside, there was an old photograph of two girls holding hands in the orphanage yard and a yellowed letter. With trembling hands, Helena began to read. Dear Helena, if this letter ever reaches you, I want you to know that I have searched for you my whole life. I discovered a few years ago, through a document from the orphanage, that we were not just friends. We were sisters. I also learned that our mother was very ill and had undergone surgery, and sometime later she had passed away. I got that role shortly before the orphanage closed, and since then I've held on to the hope that fate would bring us together again. If we can't meet, know that I love you, my sister, and that a piece of me has always been waiting for you. Helena hugged the letter to her chest and cried. Clara's daughter wrapped her in a silent hug. The uncle next to him was wiping his eyes. After a few minutes, Helena looked at the box and whispered, I found you, my sister. Even if time tried to hide us, some bonds withstand distance, pain, because when love is true, love always finds a way. And so ends another story of reunion and destiny, a story told from when the heart speaks.